Hey guys, BeauHD here, and this is Google's latest and greatest flagship smartphone, the Nexus 5. Now, what makes this phone different from any other Android smartphone on the market is the fact that this phone is designed by Google and made by LG, just like the Nexus 7. This means that you're getting a phone that works seamlessly with Android since the creator controls both the software side of things and the hardware side of things with the help of LG and their phone manufacturing capabilities. So if we take a look at the hardware, the Nexus 5 is a beautiful, sleek-looking device that comes in both black and white. While the white has some minor differences, such as a glossy material that coats the side of the device, the black edition has a soft touch rubber coating that covers the back and sides of the device, which makes it feel really comfortable in the hands and is much better than the slimy plastic back found on many other Android smartphones. Now, Google also equipped the Nexus 5 with ceramic buttons, and while it doesn't sound very meaningful at all, I found that the buttons are actually unusually pleasant to push, and since you'll need to push the power button each time to use the device, I think it's definitely a nice addition even though it is subtle and not exactly necessary. But as for the button placement, the Nexus 5 is pretty standard in that the volume up and down controls are located on the left hand side, the power on and off and sleep button along with the SIM card slot is located on the right hand side, the micro USB charging port and speakers are located on the bottom, with the 3.5mm headphone jack up on top. On the front of the Nexus 5, you'll find the 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera with all the light sensors, and then the LED notification light is on the bottom with nothing else since all the navigation buttons are in the software. Last comes the back where you'll find the 8 megapixel camera with optical image stabilization, and then of course the LG and Nexus branding. So as you can see, the outside of the device looks very similar to many other Android smartphones, so you really shouldn't have any problem getting to know this device. Now, one of the most impressive elements of the Nexus 5 is its beautiful 5-inch 1080p IPS display. The color reproduction is excellent, everything looks very crisp and very bright without feeling overly saturated or vibrant, which tends to be the case with AMOLED displays, but not the LCD IPS display in the Nexus 5. Viewing angles are also top-notch, as you can pretty much hold the Nexus 5 at any angle and still view the screen in all of its HD glory, which means it's especially nice for viewing all your favorite HD tech videos. But when you have a beautiful high-resolution display for watching videos and viewing information, you're going to need a high-performance processor to push all those pixels, and thankfully the Nexus 5 has just that, since it is being powered by the Snapdragon 800 processor with the Adreno 330 GPU. Basically, this means the Nexus 5 is fast in both how it runs applications and how it allows you to navigate the device, as the menus are incredibly smooth and fluid, and the load times for opening and closing applications are very short. I'd say this is probably the third or fourth device I've used that has the Snapdragon 800 chip inside, and I'd have to say it is the fastest on the market. But since it is paired with 2GB of RAM and has a lot of similar specs to many other top-of-the-line smartphones, you're probably asking yourself how. How is the Nexus 5 different than, say, the LG G2, which has almost identical specs? The difference is in the software, as the Nexus 5 is running an unaltered stock version of Android 4.4 KitKat. This is how the Nexus 5 shines and separates itself from the competition, as it is properly optimized to work harmoniously between the software and hardware. Something as simple as optimizing the software to work with the hardware can make all the difference in how a device functions, and this is especially apparent with the Nexus 5. The buttery smooth fluidity is something you can really only appreciate on a Nexus device. Everything from the transition of the home screens to the responsiveness when zooming in and out of a website, it all just works, and it works very well. Now, up until this point, the Nexus 5 seems like the perfect smartphone. It has a beautiful display, it's super fast, and the software is better than any other Android smartphone on the market. But unfortunately, things start to go downhill when we start to talk about the battery life and the camera. Now, the Nexus 5 is rocking an 8 megapixel camera with optical image stabilization, which is a downgrade from the standard 13 megapixel sensors found on most of the higher end smartphones currently on the market. And yes, while more megapixels don't necessarily translate to an improved image quality, the 8 megapixel sensor found on the Nexus 5 seems to place itself between a high quality smartphone camera and a low quality camera, as the pictures it takes aren't as good as the competition, but at the same time aren't bad, they're just average quality pictures. Which for a lot of people won't be a problem, as the Nexus 5 takes solid pictures that will definitely get the job done, but for someone who relies heavily on taking pictures for, say, a blog or website, you should know that the quality could be better, and it's disappointing to see Google skimp out on a high camera sensor like they did with every other Nexus smartphone. The other area of disappointment is with the battery life. While Google has drastically improved the battery life on the software side of things, the Nexus 5 lacks the battery improvements in the hardware, as the Nexus 5 includes a rather small 2300 mAh battery. What this translates to in real-world performance is a device that has excellent standby time thanks to Android 4.4 KitKat, but not so great performance time. I found that when I used this phone, I was only able to get between 4 and 6 hours of heavy usage time, which really isn't enough to get me through the day. But when I wasn't using this device, I could leave it in my pocket or on my desk for several hours or even days, and it wouldn't lose very much battery life. So basically, if you use your phone a lot, you're going to have some issues with the Nexus 5, but if you're an occasional user, you shouldn't have much of a problem getting a full day of use out of it. Now, for a phone that has some of the best specs on the market with an unaltered Google operating system, I can recommend this phone for anyone who wants a dependable phone that will continue to be updated by Google for several years to come. Whether you're a tech enthusiast or a casual user, I think you'll really love the Nexus 5, even though the camera and battery life may not be the best on the market. But these are my thoughts and opinions of Google's Nexus 5. If you guys like this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button down below, and also hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. But with that said, guys, that's going to about do it for this video. If you want to check out my complete unboxing of the Nexus 5, you can do so right down below, or you can take a look at my review of the RAV Power external battery pack that will keep all of your devices fully charged when you're on the go. But as always, guys, I'm BeauHD from How To and More. Thanks for watching.